Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild a family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan, support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We have a thought piece scheduled to drop this upcoming Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, we're available wherever podcasts are playing for your listening leisure, but we provided you with access to a few links down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Allô les mecs et les mecs. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today our topic of discussion is mental health. And on the topic of mental health, I want to talk about some of what you can expect if you decide to focus on healing. And I think that a lot of us, we talk about mental health with a focus on mental illness. We don't talk about mental health with a focus on actually getting healthy, on focusing on maintaining our mental health. And so I like to have conversations around mental health that are focused more so on cultivating the skills and the competencies to enable us to support and maintain a high degree of mental health. And so part of that is focusing on your healing journey, healing from some of the traumas, some of the wounds, some of them which could be generational, that have impacted you or that are currently negatively impacting your mental health. So if your focus is on getting mentally healthy, it means that you're going to change the way that you orient or that you navigate or that you deal and sort of engage with these specific factors that have hindered your ability to maintain your mental health in that domain because of these specific things. So one thing that I need to say, because I know that I am a huge advocate for solitude and for enjoying your own company and for getting comfortable in your own company, I think that that doesn't mean that healing is about being off on your own. Like, while for me, like, having an opportunity to reset, to recalibrate, to be on my own was so integral. The first few stages of my healing involved meeting people who did things that I think are the norm for them, but that had such a deep impact in my life that it really catapulted me in my healing journey. So when I think about healing, there have been moments of healing, and there will be moments in your healing where things are moving really slowly, where you're doing a lot of work, but you feel like you're getting nowhere, kind of trudging through mud. And then there are also these moments, and I call them like these pivotal moments, where you meet people who do the smallest gesture that heals so much. And so I've had so many of those, I call them like destiny moments, like these destiny connections with people who were truly simply just being themselves, or just acting in alignment with their character and with who they were, heal so much of me. So much of my healing, as much as it was in solitude and really thinking about how I'm showing up and what it is that I need to do and my commitment to myself and how I need to change the way that I show up in the world around me, a lot of it was just the impact that people's behavior have had had on me that have helped me to heal and have helped me to mend wounds that were really festering that couldn't have been done on my own. So I think that healing is twofold. There's an aspect of healing that you do independently on your own and it's painful. And there's an aspect of your healing that you do in community, and it is also its own form of heartbreak. But it is like a heartbreak that helps you mend. It's like a pain that is a balm. It's like a soothing sort of solution, but there is still heartbreak in healing. And I think that sometimes we think of healing and we think that it feels so good and that everything is so positive and so uplifting, but sometimes healing is in pain as much as the hurt was also rooted in pain. And so I want to talk a little bit about that because I don't think many people talk about how painful healing can actually be. And so for me, a lot of the people who were pivotal in my healing journey were people that I had to let go of. There were people who I would have clung to, would have stayed connected to forever, but they were for a season. They were not for the long haul. And I think that truth, understanding that as you heal, you're going to meet different people as you attain different phases and stages in life that are going to help you heal, but that you still have to let go. That is very heartbreaking when you see how much impact someone has had on you and you desire to keep them in your life because of the impact that they have on you. You have this devotion to them. You have this desire to commit to them, but life says no, and this is the role they need to play and they need to exit. That is its own form of heartbreak that you never take from, right? So healing is like, you're healing, hurting, but then you're building up into this person you almost can't recognize, right? Like who I am now is not a person that I ever saw myself becoming like 10, 15 years from now. 10, 15 years from now, I was really just focused on the one step in front of me. And now that I'm very many steps ahead of where I was when I started my healing journey very many years ago, I recognize that there's just so much character development in just the commitment to heal. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I've experienced so much heartbreak as a result of needing to start the healing journey. Like there's just so much pain in the trauma that we incur and in the disappointments and in the betrayal and in the treachery. But I also want to say that it is still equally painful, but in a healing way. When it is the case that you're focused on healing, you're meeting people who are mending you, who are putting you back together, who are showing you aspects of yourself. You're having these visceral moments of clarity. All of that is painful too. So if you're someone who is pain adverse, and I am personally like a hugely pain adverse person, regardless of what trajectory you're taking, it's going to be painful, right? So it's painful, but then I guess hope is very far from you if you decide to kind of stay rooted in your trauma and stay stuck where you are. But it's very painful as well to try to dig yourself out of that situation, right? And every step, every moment is painful. Hope in and of itself can be painful. Having faith, things can be better, can be painful. There's beauty in every kind of pain, and forward to that initiative. And so I want to talk a little bit about that because I think that people think healing is this light, fluffy, happy experience, and healing is dark. There is a dark aspect to healing. Healing is truth, and there's an aspect of truth that is very bittersweet. Healing can be very jarring. It can be something that tears you open so many times over, and then you're the one with the needle and thread having to suture yourself back together, and there's no anesthesia. Like there's no way to numb the pain when your focus is on healing. When your focus is on staying and hurting, like there's so many different ways you numb the pain, ignore the pain, and you look away from it. When you're healing, everything that you're doing it with the pain right there. You're getting accustomed to the pain, and as you get accustomed to the pain starts to subside in time. And time is one of the huge aspects of healing that I've had to like really learn to respect, because I can't set the time for healing. Like healing takes its own time, but if I respect the time, then I appreciate the healing that happens in its own time. There's a patience factor, and I have always been a hugely impatient person, and now I don't think you can tell. If you saw me 15 years ago, like you see me now, like I seem very zen, very quiet, because I realized that like everything has its own time in this life. And I actually have learned that I don't want anything if it's not in its own time. Some things are only good for you when they happen in its own time, right? Like if you rush it, then it's not good for you. But if you allow things to kind of roll out the way that they're supposed to in their own time, then you can appreciate it, and it's going to be a gift, and it's going to be something that's really good for you. But if you try to rush things, if you rush the process, especially the process of healing, it's going to burn you, because healing is heavy, healing is dark, healing is something that is deeply painful, but you're moving forward, right? You're moving forward at the appropriate pace set by the healing in and of itself. And you become very well acquainted with self. You become acquainted with your emotions, acquainted with your physical self, the way that your body has carried the pain with you. You become acquainted with your spiritual self, with your soul. You become acquainted. It's so intimately with yourself that you learn to respect the process and you don't rush yourself. You realize like how much of a toll and how much of a sacrifice it is to take each step forward. Even though it's good for you, it still is something that is a weight that you have to carry, and the weight shifts and changes and it gets lighter as you get stronger, but it's not something that you can rush. So I consider to be healing like chicken noodle soup for the soul, and definitely something that we all need in our lives. So I think that if life is going to hand you pain, rather than choose pain and dysfunction, choose pain and healing, and recognize that there are going to be people that you meet, even if you can't keep them, who are going to be just so pivotal and so impactful in your healing and in how that translates. And so I wanted to come here and have that conversation. I wanted to give you the sense and the hope to focus on healing, because I think sometimes we stay in dysfunction because we don't think that there's any other option for us. And that's a choice, right? And I think that there's always an option for better, but we have to want it and we have to anchor on hope despite it all. And I think that that can be a really scary decision, because faith is the substance of things unseen, but the things that we imagine, like there's a lot of us who imagine a different reality. So I'm like, if you can imagine it, if you can think about it, then you can definitely bring it into existence. So I want to have that conversation around healing, around just what to expect when you focus on your healing journey, what I have experienced personally on my healing journey and experiencing on my healing journey. It is jarring. It is a jarring roller coaster, and it is beautiful, but it is painful. It is definitely a painful experience, but I wish it on everyone. In any case, that was it, but definitely not all. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to tune in. Now, these events are paid events, so if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops largely focused on self-mastery over and above these events. So check it out. Be part of our game changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so we do invite you to follow us across all of our social media platforms, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.